number 10 in Britain, newspapers were published. Since then, the fight for privacy has grown more intense, most recently and perhaps most significantly during Queen Elizabeth's record-breaking reign on the throne of Great Britain. There has been no shortage of friction between the royals and the tabloids' relentless pursuit of the next scoop by any means necessary. From the tabloids pouncing on Prince Charles's underage drinking, to Elizabeth suing The Sun for publishing a stolen photograph of Sarah, Duchess of York, and her daughter Princess Beatrice, meant to be used on their 1988 Christmas card. The royals reached a turning point in their lives in the 1990s when a string of unfortunate events, including affairs, explosive divorces, and tell-all interviews, sent the tabloids into overdrive. The royal family's numerous scandals that became a public spectacle in that decade were exacerbated by nefarious activity. Think Camilla-gate, and the ruthless campaigns of the paparazzi. Think Fergie's toe-sucking topless photos. Number 9, 1989, Princess Anne's love letters are stolen. After marrying Sir Timothy Lawrence in a private ceremony in Scotland in 1992, Anne is happy for the first time in a very long time. However, scandal erupted just 3 years earlier when love letters from Lawrence addressed to Anne were stolen from her personal briefcase and anonymously leaked to The Sun while Anne was still married to Captain Mark Phillips, the father of their 2 children. During Lawrence's time as the Queen's equerry, Anne had been having an affair with him. During Anne's unhappy, nearly 2-decade marriage, they frequently met in London or the countryside. Because of the letters' steamy nature, editors at the British tabloid decided not to publish them for fear of being sued. The Sun even gave the letters to Scotland Yard because the editors thought they were too hot to handle. Since the only plausible explanation appeared to be that the perpetrators had to have worked at the palace in order to have access to Anne's personal briefcase, Scotland Yard gathered more than 500 sets of fingerprints and interviewed nearly every person who worked there. This case proved to be one of the rare occasions when the tabloids erred on the side of caution while maintaining a sliver of decorum. To this day, the identity of the thief or thieves has never been revealed. However, it would not last. 8. 1992, Princess Diana's phone call, aka Squidgygate or Dianagate, leaks. The Princess of Wales was on the other end of the phone call in 1989 while she was at Sandringham with the royal family on New Year's Eve. James Gilby, a well-known individual who works as a marketing manager for the motorsports team Lotus, was on the other end of the line. He also owned a fortune for Gilby's gin. The Sun released a 23-minute tape during which they can be heard giggling and kissing. The call lasted about 30 minutes. Diana, who was still very much married to Charles at the time but was living a separate life away from him, makes a naughty suggestion for when the clock strikes midnight. They're also fantasizing about spending time together. A 70-year-old retired bank manager and amateur radio operator claimed that he intercepted the phone call and hit record on his home setup, which led to the recording of the call and its subsequent leak to the tabloids. The man by the name of Cyril Renan sold the tape to The Sun for approximately $10,000 8 days after the notorious phone call on New Year's Eve. One report claims that the royal correspondent for the publication stated, "The content was so explosive, we knew we had a major story." According to reports, Gilby went completely white, got in his car, and drove off when the royal correspondent confronted him about the tape's contents. It was reported when the phone call's contents, transcript, and actual recording were made public that Diana was staying at Balmoral and was shattered, but more embarrassed than anything else. In addition, it has been reported that Diana herself paid the per-minute fee to listen in after the tabloids set up a phone number where readers could call in and listen to the phone call that was leaked. The palace was shaken to its core by the phone call leak, to the point where the Queen ordered an investigation. Ken Wharf, Diana's former longtime bodyguard and confidant, claimed that she told him that on a number of occasions, she felt she and other members of the family were being monitored during the years-long investigation into the leak. He also claimed that the British Secret Service had recorded Dianagate and broadcast it repeatedly in the hope that an amateur radio operator would hear it. Diana had even reported to her friend Liz Tilberis, editor at Harper's Bazaar, that she had heard strange clicks and noises while making phone calls. When it was revealed that the amateur radio operator had used primitive equipment to intercept the phone call, Diana's concerns increased. According to Warp, Diana had clearly believed that her phone calls were being tapped in the months leading up to her passing away. On to number 7, 1993 Camillagate or Tampongate phone call leaks. Camillagate is a completely different story, and there are no indications that Dianagate will be covered in any season of The Crown so far. The whole saga is expertly covered here, but the main point is that the phone conversation between Charles and Camilla was also leaked to the tabloids, and this part of the conversation quickly became known as Tampongate. Charles's conversation, like Diana's, was recorded in 1989, but it wasn't released to the public until 1993. The Mirror claims that people published the call's transcript in January of that year, just 1 month after Charles and Princess Diana announced their separation in December 1992. In August of 1996, they got divorced. The tape sent shockwaves through royal spheres as both were married at the time of the conversation. Even though the three of them remained friends, it also led to Camilla's divorce from Andrew because it rendered his position as the Duchess of Cornwall's husband untenable. Number 6, 1992, Fergie's toe-sucking photo scandal. Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson got married in 1986, but they broke up in March 92. 5 months later, her financial advisor, Texas millionaire John Bryan, was caught on camera kissing and sucking Fergie's toes while they were on vacation in Saint-Tropez. This caused a scandal. The headline for the photos, Fergie's Stolen Kisses, appeared in a Daily Mirror. They were taken with a telephoto lens as they relaxed by the pool. The Truth of the Texas Millionaire and the Duchess. One of the most contentious images featured Princess Eugenie, who was just 2 years old at the time, watching as Brian kissed Fergie on the lips. It is said that Fergie had been invited to go on vacation with the family to Balmoral. The family saw the Daily Mirror cover while they were at their 50,000-acre estate in Aberdeenshire. The night before the photos were published in the Daily Mirror, royal writer Richard Kay claimed in the Daily Mail that Princess Diana sent him a message that read, "The redhead is in trouble." According to reports, Fergie was asked to leave Balmoral, so she drove her 2 children and nanny the 50 miles to the airport. Fergie had to wait outside her home's gates when she got to London because no one was there to receive her. She sat and waited in the car while photographers snapped away. In the end, Fergie and Andrew split up in May 1996. On to number 5, 1993, Queen Elizabeth sues the Sun. The monarch was about to file her second lawsuit against the British tabloid at this point. The BBC reports that Elizabeth filed her first lawsuit in 1988 over the publication of a stolen picture of Fergie and Beatrice that was supposed to be used on their Christmas card that year. In the end, the parties came to an agreement outside of court. After The Sun published a leaked text of Her Majesty's Christmas broadcast 5 years later, in 1993 the Queen filed a second lawsuit for copyright infringement. In the end, the parties reached a settlement for about $231,000, which was given to charity. Number 4, 1993, Princess Diana's gym photos. After photos of her working out at a gym were published by the Daily Mirror, the Princess of Wales filed a lawsuit against the publication. The photos were taken with a hidden camera, putting the royals' privacy expectations once more front and center. In the end, the newspaper had to apologize and pay around $1.1 million for Diana's legal fees. Additionally, the newspaper gave roughly $230,000 to charity. According to the reports, the proprietor of the gym where the appalling incident occurred refused to settle with Diana. The gym owner, on the other hand, is said to have wanted to take the matter to court. But the gym owner changed his mind and apologized for his part in the scandal less than a week before the case was to start. In the end, he spent the roughly $346,000 he earned from selling the photos. Number 3, 1999, Sophie Rhys-Jones' topless photo. The cover of The Sun featured a topless photo of Sophie in 1988, just a few months before she was to wed Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex, the youngest son of Elizabeth and Philip. She and DJ Chris Tarrant were in Spain when the picture was taken. Sophie and Tarrant can be seen laughing while seated in the back of a car in the image. Tarrant is then seen raising her bikini top while leaning against him. palace described the act as premeditated cruelty and described the publication of the photo as a gross invasion of privacy. The Sun's editor offered to never publish another photo of Reese Jones and expressed regret for publishing the image. He said in a statement, "We clearly offended Miss Sophie. As a result, I have chosen to apologize to her and the palace." Number 2, 2006, tabloids caught hacking. The story about Prince William's knee injury that was published in the now defunct News of the World in November 2005 marked the beginning of everything. Even though the story was minor in comparison to previous royal scandals, curious minds at the palace wanted to know how the newspaper got the specifics, like that William pulled a tendon. A week later, a story about William borrowing broadcast equipment from ITN editor Tom Bradby was published in News of the World, a tabloid that ceased publication on July 10, 2011 after nearly 2 centuries. This raised suspicions even further. The shocking part, though, was that Bradby later told the Daily Mail that the News of the World article had been written before William and Bradby had met in person to discuss it. This meant that they had only talked about it over the phone when the story had been written. William's phone and voicemail may have been hacked. Royal officials reported to the police. This set off a series of events that would result in the demise of the News of the World in 1843 publication. The veteran royal correspondent Clive Goodman and private investigator Glenn Mulcair, the News of the World's top investigator, stood in a London courtroom on January 26, 2007 and apologized for the gross invasion of privacy, according to the New York Times Magazine. News of the World fired them after they received sentences of 4 months and 6 months in prison respectively. In the end, a thorough investigation into News of the World revealed that the publication had also hacked into the phones of lawmakers, murder victims, celebrities, and members of the royal family. The newspaper's owner, Rupert Murdoch, said that the actions were deplorable and unacceptable and that he would fully cooperate with the investigation. And on to number 1, 2012, Kate Middleton's topless photos. Palace once again grew angry over Kate's invasion of privacy after a photographer using a long lens captured photos of Kate topless while sunbathing on vacation in the south of France with Prince William. The photos appeared in a French magazine drawing fury from the palace. The Royal Highnesses have been hugely saddened to learn that a French publication and a photographer have invaded their privacy in such a grotesque and totally unjustifiable manner. A statement from the palace read at the time, "The incident is reminiscent and the worst excesses of the press and paparazzi during the life of Diana, Princess of Wales, and all the more upsetting to the Duke and Duchess for being so. The Royal Highnesses had every expectation of privacy in the remote house. It is unthinkable that anyone should take such photographs, let alone publish them." The fallout was swift following the publication of the photos, as the editor for the French magazine and the photographer were charged with invasion of privacy and violating France's strict privacy laws. Starting off with number 10, Kate Middleton. As put together as this family wants to seem, there are always moments that are hard to keep away from the public, especially when you have the paparazzi constantly watching your every move. During a vacation with Prince William, Kate was caught off guard on a balcony in France. After pics of her topless during her sunbathing session were sold and published through French magazine Closer, it caused some serious drama. The royals were very upset to find out that the paparazzi was being disrespectful and invading their privacy during their stay at a French lodge. I'd be annoyed too. Can't even be at peace during your own vacation? That sucks. Kate has been trying her hardest to maintain a professional and regal persona, especially while outside when she knows there will be cameras. So it shouldn't be such a wild thing to think she is human and does regular human things while in the peace of her own space around her family. After the pictures were published, the family took the case to court because the photographer and publisher were profiting off pictures taken through invading their privacy. The court ordered defendants to pay damages to Kate and William. On to number 9, Prince Harry caught in Las Vegas naked. Now, we all know how hard it is to not become a chaotic human being while you're in Vegas, and Prince Harry is no different than us when it comes down to it. While in his own hotel room, photographers took some sneaky shots of the prince while he was walking around undressed. I guess the prince forgot to close all the curtains, or simply didn't have the paparazzi on his mind during his own vacation. The royals really do have it rough. They can't even breathe without remembering that one wrong or unregal move can be published within the matter of hours if caught. Harry has a special dislike for paparazzi and has even gotten into a couple of brawls with some photographers because of how fed up he would become from the constant amount of cameras flashing in his face. I get that the royals have a certain reputation they need to worry about, but sometimes expressing emotions can be freeing, and Harry has been one of the few royals who has made a point to do just that. As the younger prince, that just makes sense. He doesn't have as much responsibility as his older brother, so why not become a loose cannon here and there? Down to number 8. Now, this one is most definitely a little unhinged, but Prince Andrew's ex-wife Sarah Ferguson was part of a scandal thanks to the paparazzi that caused their 6-year marriage to end. Another instance of a royal being stalked by photographers during a vacay, Sarah was captured with a financial advisor having some intimate fun at her beach villa in Saint-Tropez while she sunbathed topless. Yikes. As a royal, this is definitely hard to defend. Not only was she cheating in broad daylight, but there were pictures circulating. The royals may be on vacation, but it seems like they will never catch a break from the paparazzi following them around, even while off royal duty. In number 7, thanks to the British press, we found out King Charles has been drinking alcohol since the age of 14, which is definitely underage. In the 1960s, the king was overheard by a journalist asking for a cherry brandy. The alleged story is that his friends dared him to go up to the bar and order a drink, so he ordered the first thing that came to his mind. Unluckily, the journalist sitting near him wanted to make this into a scandalous story, which got King Charles in serious trouble and also cost his bodyguard his job. As careful as the royals are known to be, it's no surprise that sometimes they slip up, just as other human beings do. You may not know this, but this rebellious king has broken royal protocols quite a few times during his time as prince. PDA is normally frowned upon, which King Charles has shown towards both of his wives, respectively, during each marriage. He has had oysters. Yeah, that's against the royal rules too, because seafood is usually avoided due to fears of food poisoning. But hey, if the king wants an oyster, who's gonna stop him, right? Charles was the first Prince of Wales to be granted a divorce with Princess Diana, even though it was never preferred that monarchs get a divorce. Number 6 on our list is Queen Elizabeth suing the Sun for publishing a stolen pic of Sarah, Duchess of York, and Princess Beatrice, which was meant to be used for the 1988 Christmas card. The 2-day early publishing of the Christmas message upset the Queen to the point where she filed a lawsuit for copyright infringement against the Sun, with the settlement costing them over $180,000. Although some believe public messages do not belong to anyone in particular, the Sun did send out a personal apology for the early publishing of the picture with Sarah and Beatrice, which was meant for the message on Christmas Day. This clearly meant a lot for Queen Elizabeth because it is not often we see the Queen go out of her way to call out people. She really takes her Christmas cards very seriously. You gotta respect it. Number 5 on our top 10 countdown, the invasion of privacy continues, causing Meghan and Prince Harry to take tabloids to court over their concerns more than once. As scary as it sounds, publishers have brought out the high tech, using drones and even helicopters in a very desperate and extremely invasive attempt to get pictures of their son Archie through the backyard of the couple's Montecito home. The couple, who stepped back as senior members of the British royal family, have made countless headlines ever since then, which naturally meant a lot of media and press was going to be all up in their business. But they really crossed the line by trying to use helicopters to see what the family is up to while they're just minding their business at home. And although a lot of people eat up any sort of news based around the royals, no matter how mediocre the story is, it should definitely not be normal for publishers to go to these extreme lengths just to capture a picture of these people. In the infamous docuseries Harry and Meghan, Meg talks about how she's been struggling with the paparazzi too. When she had started dating Harry, paparazzi would pay her neighbors to live stream what she was doing in her house by setting up cameras that would point to her backyard. That sounds super scary and overly obsessive, because what could be so entertaining about watching a person that closely all because they're dating a royal? I could never imagine caring that much. And personally, I think some new laws about privacy invasion within the media should be made, because that is too invasive. After the docuseries released, it made a lot of people realize that it may have not been the media attention the couple didn't like, as they insisted, but the lack of control over the kinds of stories being made on them. Funny enough, even after sharing their own narrative on stories, media outlets still found ways to control the narrative in a very different direction. They really can't win. In number 4, we all know how often Harry and Meghan have made the news headlines. Their story just seems to be very interesting for the public. But there also have been accusations that the family plans controversial stories in order to gain this attention. Leading up to the wedding of Meghan and Harry, a scandal involved Meghan's estranged father Thomas Markle for staging a photo shoot. The staged photo scandal, thereafter dubbed Markle debacle, created a massive PR headache for the royals. Markle Sr. claimed the saga caused him 2 heart attacks as well as worldwide embarrassment and ridicule while losing my relationship with my daughter Meghan and son-in-law Prince Harry. This father and daughter have seemed to bring their rocky relationship into the limelight a few times. Thomas even put out a statement that insisted his daughter never reached out to him or made any efforts to rekindle their relationship. This caused Meghan to send a letter to her dad, calling him out for upsetting her with his lies and for not communicating with her properly after she'd heard from a tabloid that he had a heart attack. Somehow, Mail on Sunday got hold of the letter and published it too. This caused a lawsuit to be filed against the publishers for acting dishonestly. This beef between the family feels almost embarrassing because they're airing out each other's business, which is quite the opposite of what the royals have ever wanted from their family members. But one thing about the royals, the English tea is always steaming hot, whether they like it or not. Number 3 on our list of top 10. Yes, our third Meg and Harry story. The couple is clearly not shy at all from filing lawsuits against the press when inaccurate news stories are published about the family. There have been many misleading allegations published about the two, which was a leading cause for them to want to step down from their royal duties. Which, as we all know, made major news and has consistently kept the two in news stories, and it really is up to us to decide what we believe or not. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have claimed that they wanted a private, normal life, hence why they moved out London to LA. During this period of time, we've seen that the two have been doing everything they can to fight the press when they feel like the claims being published are completely inaccurate. After the passing of Harry's mom, Princess Diana, the media was overly obsessed with his every move, which had infamously caused him to even get into some physical fights with some photographers. The few times that it made headlines, it made the young prince seem like a rebel, and even though he may have been, he also just wanted some freedom, which ironically he didn't have as someone who has more power than most people his age. Honestly, Harry, I get it. There are times when you just want to be left alone, and being someone with that status is harder to do and harder to enjoy anything without wondering if it's going to be featured in a news story the next day. In number 2, Buckingham Palace doesn't usually comment on a majority issues. Instead, they only tend to issue denials for the most egregious. So when untrue statements were being made against Harry and Meg, they felt frustrated that the palace didn't put out any statements. The inability to correct what they see as inaccurate accounts in the UK tabloids apparently frustrated Harry and Meghan, the latter perhaps even more so. Which in a way makes sense since Meghan was a free-speaking actor and activist with her own social media account and blog. She has a tendency to stand up for whatever she believes in and has no problem defending herself, which might be why this couple has done exceptionally well in remaining relevant in the press. As many scandals have presented themselves throughout the timeline of this royal family's history, doesn't it make you realize how imperfect this seemingly perfect and regal family really is? The amount of things they do to make a point that they may be above us all and are definitely treated like such makes it interesting and somewhat entertaining to see how much of a mess this family can be. And the lengths they will go to with the press and media to try to control the narrative to maintain their reputation of being perfectly royal. But then again, no one is perfect, and when there are cameras all up in your face all the time, and even sometimes when you aren't even paying attention, it makes it even harder to find a balance of being yourself and being yourself for the cameras. What would you do if you had this sort of lifestyle that is available for constant criticism from the public? I think it would get so exhausting, which is why I totally get when some extremely famous people go out in disguise to feel like they have a normal life. And last but not least, number 1 on our top 10, The Crown. If you've seen this show, you know how juicy it can really get. This show has caused great controversy because of how much is exposed. Stories, family conflicts, affairs, and other scandals that became a public spectacle. But funny enough, some members of the family actually do tune into the show. According to sources, Queen Elizabeth saw all 10 episodes of the first season. She obviously approved of the type of content being publicized since the show just released a new season. If you're currently watching the show, let me know what your favorite season is in the comments.
Starting up this countdown at number 10, luxury cars and private jets. According to AutoBiz, Markle cruises around town in a $122,000 Range Rover Vogue, a $45,000 Lincoln MKC, a $500,000 Mercedes-Benz S-Class, an $80,000 Cadillac Escalade, a $30,000 Toyota Camry, and a $75,000 Lexus LS. She's also been spotted by British media in a Jaguar E-Type and multiple Audis, with Harry in the driver's seat. The couple also uses a $6.5 million Cessna 680 Citation Sovereign plane, private jet, an asset that sparks heavy criticism of the two climate change activists. It's fitted with stunning interiors, leather seats, executive desks, and spacious bathrooms. It's unknown, however, whether they bought the aircraft for themselves or if they just hire on occasion. But regardless, that's still a lot of money. Meanwhile, some celebrities fly commercial because they care about the planet. Number 9, education. Meghan Markle attended Immaculate Heart High School in Los Angeles, which costs over $17,000 per year to attend. Markle had later graduated from the all-girls Catholic school in 1999. Now, this may seem crazy, but the royal family reportedly spends around the same amount on schooling, so maybe that's why she fits in so well. Although nowadays she doesn't really. Prince George, the 9-year-old son of Prince William and Princess Catherine, started attending Thomas's Battersea School in London in September 2017. Tuition and fees totaled over $7,000 per term for students aged 4 to 7, and there are 3 terms per calendar year. The price, however, decreases for each subsequent child enrolled concurrently per family, so Princess Charlotte and Princess Louis' tuition will cost not as much, but will probably still be quite a bit. George and his siblings then began attending Lambrook, an independent preparatory school, in September 2022, and tuition ranges from $5,000 to $9,000 per term depending on the student's year in school. Number 8, holiday decor. Her husband, Prince Harry, isn't content to let staff do all the holiday decorating for his Nottingham cottage home. In December 2016, the royal was spotted buying an approximately $4,000 Nordmann fir Christmas tree from Pines and Needles in South London's Battersea Park with Meghan Markle. The Daily Mirror reported the prince paid for the tree with a credit card. Markle also reportedly happily accepted a bunch of mistletoe with her purchase, while the prince wasn't keen on it. Seemingly in the holiday spirit, staffers told the publication the happy, low-key couple was friendly and largely slipped under the radar. Number 7, clothing. A royal fashion blog found that Markle came out on top with a mind-boggling $500,000 spent on her wardrobe just that year, 5 times more than Kate Middleton, according to textile market intelligence platform Yards and Fibers. However, the report did factor in a pricey jewelry piece, which has been speculated to be a gift from Prince Charles, but remains unconfirmed by the palace. Typically, gifts aren't included. The ranking was also only based on clothing pieces that could be identified, of course. Though Markle is known to flaunt H&M and J.Crew on occasion, she's also been spotted in a $3,500 Oscar de la Renta gown, a $4,700 Armani dress for her Oprah interview, an $18,000 Givenchy dress, and a $75,000 Ralph and Russo gown for her engagement pics with Prince Harry, per Insider. And if you thought that was expensive, there's also the $157,000 Stella McCartney silk crepe dress worn at a wedding reception, and $265,000 Givenchy wedding gown. Number 6, staff. Up until March 31st, 2022, Queen Elizabeth's payroll expenses totaled nearly $24 million, on top of other staff costs of $3.8 million, according to the Sovereign Grant and Sovereign Grant Reserve Financial Summary. Doing one's own grocery shopping, cleaning, and laundry is decidedly unroyal, so Prince William and Kate have a little help. It's unknown who's currently assisting the family, but in May 2017, The Sun reported that housekeeper had recently quit her roughly $46,000 per year job because it was too demanding. And of course, Meghan doesn't need as much staff as the Queen did, so she probably doesn't spend that much, but it's estimated that she does spend around $1 million per year on staff costs. And as just one of Kate's staff members quit because she was too demanding, Meghan's staff also have a lot to say about her. Meghan has been called a narcissistic sociopath who played her former advisors. It was like working for a couple of teenagers, according to the reported words by their highly regarded private secretary who had been recommended by the Queen after years of loyal service. And Meghan's behavior had apparently been difficult and demanding from the start. Number 5, jewelry and watches. At her wedding to Prince Harry, Markle wore a $155,000 Cartier bracelet from the Reflection line, and $68,000 earrings after the ceremony per Hello. Markle also sported Lorraine Schwartz earrings worth $40,000, and an eternity ring costing $62,000, according to The Richest. But her most expensive piece of bling has got to be her $350,000 engagement ring from Cleveland Company, though she's also worn priceless heirlooms once worn by Princess Diana, Queen Elizabeth, and Queen Mary. Markle's $5,800 Cartier Tank franchise seems to be her watch of choice, and she's been sporting it ever since she became a royal. She told Hello in 2015 that she, quote, totally splurged on the two-tone variation after starring in Suits. But what about her gold Cartier Tank? It's rumored that the striking heirloom once belonged to Princess Diana, per Vanity Fair, and may have been passed down to Markle after she met Prince Harry. Number 4. Renovations. $3 million was reportedly spent renovating the 10-bedroom manor home, Frogmore Cottage, which I mentioned earlier where they bought their crazy expensive Christmas tree that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry share with their children. The couple moved to Frogmore Cottage in Windsor back in March 2019. The property, which was previously used as royal staff headquarters, required the renovation of, quote, 5 residential units in poor condition, according to the report. Number 3. Everyday life. Okay, so what about everyday necessities? According to news.com.au, the couple are estimated to spend up to $1.2 million a month beyond the designer clothes and bling. Other expenses include a $200,000 baby shower, which Serena Williams kindly paid for, $11,000 on acupuncture and numerology during her pregnancy, a $43,000 baby moon, possibly up to $59,000 a year on nannies, and of course holidays, as per Insider. Markle's favorite wine, Tignanello, costs $130 a bottle. And let's not forget about the couple's membership at Santa Barbara Polo and Racquet Club, which costs nearly $10,000 a month per closer. Splurges aside, the couple does commit an admirable amount of time and money donated to noteworthy charities too. In addition, the Sussexes are estimated to spend $4.5 million annually to sustain their lavish lifestyle. They propose that their security would be costing the couple more than $4.5 million annually. This, along with other expenses such as their mortgage, is estimated to add up to over $6 million annually. Number 2. Bags. She may keep Harry as permanent arm candy, but the Duchess of Sussex is also known to boast a serious collection of luxury handbags. She's donned a $4,900 Dior Lady Delight, a $985 Gucci Dionysus, many Strathberries including the $770 Mindy Tote, a $920 Bottega Veneta wallet, a $780 Mulberry Darley, and Victoria Beckham powder box bag worth $620 per Hello, and the list goes on and on. Now coming in at number 1, mansions. After the Lovebirds announced their exit from the royal life in 2020, they moved into a $14.7 million Montecito mansion in Santa Barbara, California, swapping British royals for neighbors like Tom Cruise and Ellen DeGeneres. The 18,000 square foot 9-bedroom property features a cinema, office, spa, arcade, library, wine cellar, and everything you can imagine for a Hollywood home, according to 8 Days. They lived there with their children Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana. Before the big move, they called Britain's Frogmore Cottage home. The historical countryside abode has been a royal residence since 1792, and the Duke and Duchess dropped around $3 million on taxpayers' money for renovations before they stepped down from the royal duties per Hello.
Starting off with number 10, it didn't come as a surprise to find out that the once beloved Prince Harry's sudden exit from royal life cost him millions. This life-altering decision that was made by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex left many shocked and them with a substantially smaller amount of money in the bank account. Meghan really got him to drop it all for her. That's some real power. After being cut off financially in 2020, he's admitted to relying on his late mother, Princess Diana's inheritance, even revealing that if it wasn't for the inheritance, they would have not been able to afford their royal exit. Shout out Princess Di. Along with losing millions of money, it might be safe to say that Prince Harry lost much more because of this decision that many supporters of the royals, including the family, did not agree with. He may have inherited additional funds from his great-grandmother who passed away in 2002. The BBC reported at the time that Prince William and Harry were left north of $16 million to divide. Harry would receive a larger portion as he would not gain the financial benefits of being king one day. Okay, so I'm seeing Harry is still getting that bag without the royal responsibilities. Maybe he is onto something. In number 9, we can't speak of Harry without mentioning his wife and former actress Meghan Markle. After their short period of time as working royals, Meghan was not feeling it at all and thought it would be healthier for the couple to opt out of their royal duties and start a life in LA. They really dropped the bag, now they have to support themselves. Meg, I thought you cared about your status. Do they still think it was a good idea? We may never know for sure, but considering all the brand deals they've signed with to stay afloat, to them, this may be the path of least resistance. The couple has been criticized for recently entering into multi-million-dollar deals with the streaming giants Spotify and Netflix. I mean, hey, they gotta make money some way, even if that meant exposing the royal drama to get that bag. During the bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey, the couple was asked about whether or not they are just money-grabbing royals, to which Harry assured was never the intention. Another lie? Or is this a sincere statement? Let me know what you think in the comments below, because their words are really not matching with their actions. Markle suggested that their charity Archwell was a remedy to the misinformation about them, explaining that the work would prioritize storytelling through a truthful lens. Okay, let's see if Miss Meghan is being honest now. Down to number 8, before getting cut off financially, King Charles was helping Harry and Meghan to make their transition easier. Once that was done in the spring of 2020, only months after the couple had announced their decision to step down, Harry and Meghan made the claim that they were cut off financially. Wow, now that is cold. Being upset that you are no longer reaping the benefits of a royal as someone who voluntarily did not want to be one anymore feels very much like a first world problem. Am I right? Did they really expect to continue earning a royal allowance without taking up the duties? Harry and Meg, I think you should feel lucky you have enough without the royals to spoon feed you millions of dollars, but that's just me. On top of that, the couple has managed to lose millions of supporters because of their controversial Netflix miniseries, which they really believed needed to be a 6-part story. I too wonder what they thought their love story was important enough for us to consider sitting through 6 separate episodes of it. But anyway, Romeo and Juliet would never. In number 7, the once known as a prince, Andrew. After some major controversies, Andrew was stripped of royal titles, military associations, and royal patronages. Oh, and not to mention the millions that he will no longer be continuing with his royal duties. Big shocker. All Prince Andrew's roles have been returned to the Queen with immediate effect and will be redistributed to other members of the royal family. The door is being closed on return to public life. Sucks to suck, Andrew. Although he does seem to be keeping his constitutional role as Chancellor of State, one of 4 royals who can undertake the Queen's official duties should she be unwell. Although he does seem to be keeping his constitutional role as Chancellor of State. The Duke had a 22-year career in the Royal Navy and served as a helicopter pilot during the Falkland Wars. The latest palace announcement means he has lost military titles, including Colonel of the Grenadier Guards. Seems like a lot of these L's cost him more than just millions. Moving on to number 6, after the ill-prepared Caribbean tour Will and Kate took, many were quick to call them out for the outrageous amount of money that was spent for this trip, making it their most expensive trip of the year. Look at these ballers. Just a reminder, a lot of these trips these royals take are funded by the taxpayers, so this news definitely hit a nerve when it was revealed how much was spent. Honestly, I'd be annoyed too if my money was going towards a trip I wasn't even invited to. The figure includes the cost of William and Kate's journey on the RAF Voyager, an Airbus 330 used by the royals and government VIP, and a separate staff planning trip that took place before the tour began. Overall, the royals received £86 million from the Sovereign Grant. Of that, $4.5 million went to travel, including the Caribbean tour and the November trip King Charles made to Barbados when the country became a republic, which cost £138,000. The cost also included 179 helicopter flights by members of the royal family and 24 additional charter flights. They really know how to spend money when it's not theirs. In number 5, King Charles III is now entitled to riches part of the Crown Estate, the largest of the investment entities linked to the UK monarchy, as well as from a private estate, the Duchy of Lancaster. Eldest son William has inherited the Duchy of Cornwall after succeeding his father as Prince of Wales and next in line to the throne. The Crown Estate and Royal Duchies oversee total assets of about $21 billion, with their values rising about 70% on average over the past decade, which reflects rising land and property prices. Wow, now we're getting into the billions. Seems like he could share it with the rest of us. Come on, King Charles. Profits from the Duchy of Lancaster, which owns 45,000 acres of land across England and Wales, provide income for the UK's sovereign and have helped to fund the activities of other British royals. One of the largest sources of the Windsors' wealth, as well as one of the most difficult to assess, is the family's property holdings. The family owns a large portfolio of real estate, including well-known properties such as the 830,000 square foot Buckingham Palace, Sandringham Country Estate, Balmoral Castle, the Duchy of Cornwall, and Windsor Castle. And the list goes on and on. Must be nice. On to number 4. The thing this family spends money on, a lot of us can only dream of being able to drop millions of dollars to travel, renovate, and do other royal British things. The release of an annual report, the Sovereign Grant, details spending for the year. This also revealed the renovations to Meghan and Prince Harry's new home, Frogmore Cottage, which cost over $3 million. You guys like to spend a lot of money too, huh? When they decided on stepping down, they offered to pay back the expenses from the renovations. Wow, how nice of you guys. Members of the family also have massive amounts of private wealth, the spending of which they do not have to report. But that doesn't stop us from being curious about the other ways they spend their lavish wealth. According to the report, Queen Elizabeth and the royal family received $104 million from British taxpayers. They spent $42 million on renovations to royal palaces and properties. Along with the upgrades to the Sussex's home, a number of other home design projects took up a big chunk of the budget, including Buckingham Palace, Kensington Palace, and Windsor Castle. No wonder they're going broke. Other things the royals spend their wealth on is their large staff and crew who work for the royals. And just in case you didn't know, a lot of people work for the palace. Payroll costs totaled around $29.4 million, and that includes multiple levels of staff, including private secretaries for senior royals and public relations teams. As much as the royals try their hardest to pretend like they're relatable and just like us, they really aren't. Spending this much money on the people who work for you is literally the complete opposite of relatable. On to number 3, traveling like royalty comes with a king-sized price tag. The royal family serves as ambassadors for the UK across the country, Commonwealth, and the world, which is why they're out and about a lot. The 2022 annual report from the Sovereign Grant and Sovereign Grant Reserve revealed that the royal family spent more than $5 million on travel in the past year. Some of those trips were vacations, other official government trips, and a good few seem to be a bit of both. But damn, spend a lot of money. According to the Sovereign Grant, members of the family undertook more than 3,200 engagements during the year, with the Queen doing 140, and the total travel costs were around $5.8 million. Can you imagine spending that much on traveling? Millions of dollars to travel is a crazy thing to think about for us regular folk, but for the royals, it's just another day. Obviously, the overseas tours cost significantly more than day trips in Britain. For example, Prince Charles and Duchess Camilla's trip to the Caribbean and Cuba cost around $530,000. The Fiji and Tonga portion of the Sussex's Down Under tour cost over $100K, and Prince William's trip to visit Jordan, Israel, and Palestine was around $90,000. The most expensive trip so far was taken by King Charles and Camilla in 2017 to Italy, Romania, and Austria. During the 9-day tour, the couple took several very expensive charter flights between Bucharest, Pisa, Naples, Rome, and Vienna, and all that came to a cost of $203,000. Charles and Camilla are the biggest spenders. The couple spent more than any other royal family member on travel in 2018. It was then that they racked up a bill of about $530,000 for their massive tour through the Caribbean. Damn, y'all gotta chill out a little. However, it seems as though they really got their money's worth on that one, as the couple took part in more than 50 engagements on 10 different islands during their stay. It was also the first royal visit to Cuba. Why does it cost this much to travel? Well, the royals have to take into consideration the amount of staff that is coming with them, who have their own separate expenses, the tremendous expense of operating around-the-clock RCMP security detail, and you can't forget the officers driving armored Escalades following the royal family everywhere to ensure some crazy lunatic doesn't try to make a name for himself by taking them out. Number 2 on our top 10, the family increasing their carbon footprint. Since the royals are partially funded by the taxpayer, the Prince of Wales is obligated to publish annual reports covering business costs, carbon emissions, home energy consumption, and travel schedules. To work out the carbon footprints of the royals, let's dive into the impact it has on their travels. With an increase of 93% in carbon emissions is due to more overseas tours. On the flip side, there was a 24% reduction in energy use for heating and lighting, and a 2% reduction in waste generation, which should make environmentalist King Charles happy. Out of everyone in the immediate royal family, King Charles has the biggest carbon footprint. The king really is out here living large. On the flip side, the smallest carbon footprint was made by Queen Liz. When the queen was strictly forbidden from traveling on public transit, she would regularly use her own private train. Yeah, you heard that right. The family has its own private train. The regal interior of the Royal British train is breathtaking enough, but what makes this more impressive is that it's a diesel-electric hybrid. A major and controversial source of wealth for the royal family is the crown jewels. These include a multitude of rare and expensive jewels and crowns. Among the most famous of the jewels is the Koh-i-Noor diamond, a 105-carat diamond which you can consider as a gift to Queen Victoria or stolen by the British in the mid-19th century. We can get into that another day. Anyway, determining the value of a jewel like the Koh-i-Noor is also difficult. By comparison, in 2015, a flawless 100-carat diamond sold at auction for $22 million. However, it is likely that the Koh-i-Noor would sell for a substantial amount more. This is because of the value of the diamond based on its association with the royals and the value that other governments have placed on it. The Indian government is one such entity that has sought the return of the diamond over the years. The royal collection includes over 1 million art objects held in trust by the monarch. The king or queen do not own these artworks. Among the pieces in the collection are countless items of decorative art. Due to the size and enormous historical value of the collection, it's difficult to place a monetary value on it. That's all for today's top 10. Let me know what you think the most outrageous thing you think the royals have spent their millions on is. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking into the top 10 secrets Meghan kept from Prince Harry. Starting off with number 10, eyes on Harry. Before Meghan Markle met Prince Harry and became friends with A-list celebrities like Serena Williams, George and Amal Clooney, and Oprah Winfrey, she was a minor American television actress who was fighting for recognition on red carpets and her next big professional opportunity. In the British media, self-described former friends assert that her meeting Prince Harry was not accidental. Additionally, these former friends claimed that Meg had become dissatisfied with the advancement of her Hollywood career. Meghan, who self-identifies as an Anglophile, began considering the possibility in 2013 that the UK might be the best place for her to live. This idea eventually enabled Meghan to maneuver into the appropriate social circles where she and Harry would meet. Lizzie Cundy, a British television presenter, stated, "She told me she wanted to be on an English reality TV show and that she wanted an English boyfriend." On to number 9, social climber. Cundy claimed that she and Meghan met at a charity event in 2013, the same year that the Suits actress divorced her husband, producer Trevor Engelson, after 2 years of marriage. Meg asked Cundy if she knew any famous men and that she was single and liked Englishmen. "Meg, you and I both." Meghan also told Cundy that she could only be in Suits for so long and that Hollywood was a really brutal place. According to Cundy, she stated that she would feel at home in London, but she had not made a breakthrough. According to Cundy, Meghan initially targeted the television series Made in Chelsea, which follows the lives of wealthy young London residents. On and off screen, Meghan desired to be a part of the Chelsea crowd. Cundy continued, she worked hard to get in that crowd. According to the Daily Mail, she eventually met people who were friends with Harry through these circles. So, is Meg a social climber, or was all of that just a fluke? What is your opinion? Let me know in the comments. On to number 8, ghosted by the Duchess. Is Meg severing ties with her friends in order to attain royal status? Gina Nelthorpe Crown, a former colleague and friend, said that Meghan ghosted her when they first met in 2014. She found the future Duchess to be hugely charismatic. According to the Daily Mail, Nelthorpe Crown quickly became both Meghan's agent and friend. She claims that during their 2016 romantic trip to Botswana, Meghan exclaimed to her that she and Prince Harry were going to change the world. Nelthorpe Crown claimed that the last time she heard from Meghan was when the future Duchess informed her that she was ending their contract and giving up her career. According to Nelthorpe Crown, Meghan likes to move on. Ouch! Meghan had no qualms about parting ways with her former friends. I wonder how Harry feels about the claims that a few people have made that she cut them off as soon as she and Harry became serious. But at the same time, it would be safer and easier for Meg to keep her distance from them if she knew that they would share her business. Despite the fact that she no longer communicates with them, it is evident that they are still discussing her and discussing her past. Was the Duchess's decision right? Share your ideas in the comments section below. On to number 7, Harry's previous partners. Despite the fact that people say you can't change the past, Meghan seems to wish Harry could. She appears to be fuming over Prince Harry's decision to conceal the identities of his former lovers. It's better to keep some things to yourself, right? Because none of it was ever shared with her before, it is said that Prince Harry's previous relationships have caused Meghan a great deal of pain and panic. Catherine O'Mahony, a 34-year-old Real Housewives of DC star, recently opened up about her passionate time with Prince Harry. Harry is known to have had a relationship with her. However, insider accounts of Meghan Markle's reaction have emerged as a result of her public admission. Closer UK claims that Harry never hid that from her when they first got together, and that Meghan Markle was well aware Harry had a past, and that he was a serious playboy who was a big hit with the ladies back in his youth. There is a possibility that Meghan is reading about certain relationships because it appears that many of Harry's flings were not discussed at all during private conversations and secrets he revealed for the first time to other women. When she learned things about her husband that she had no idea about, Meghan probably felt surprised. This occurs despite the fact that Prince Harry is said to have advised her to maintain her composure regarding the matter, stating that it's difficult when the shocking affair is plastered all over the internet and covered in almost every news outlet. Since Harry is a prince, how could he not play a role? It's almost as if Harry was concealing it from Meg, but at the same time, finding out about your husband's flings other than with him would undoubtedly be annoying. On to number 6, unhappy hubby. During the height of the media's attention, the couple hid from the public for a few days with their friends Ben and Jessica Mulroney. Ben and Prince Harry became close friends due to their shared pasts. Markle took a break from Suits by November to fly to London. Around this time, stills from her show Suits were made public, and they featured the actress in her first raunchy love scene. The photographs made Prince Harry angry, so he asked the press secretary at Kensington Palace to issue an official statement defending Markle, which was ultimately criticized by the British press. Some people thought Prince Harry had been too rash, and others thought the public had a right to know about the royal family. But what are your thoughts on this? And on to number 5, secret proposal. Lowe asserts that the couple had only known each other for less than a year when Harry proposed, despite the fact that they were said to have started dating in July 2016. Furthermore, it took place at least 4 months before their announcement. This would imply that by the time her well-known interview with Vanity Fair was published, in which she confirmed that her relationship with Harry was serious, Meghan had already agreed to marry Harry. The couple wanted to keep their engagement a secret, which is why they didn't say it sooner. However, it was known to everyone in the royal family, she asserts. The interview was, in effect, Meghan's big launch. Although everyone in Kensington Palace was aware that the couple had been secretly engaged since late summer, this was Meghan putting herself out there in a confident and proactive manner. On to number 4, payment from the paps. Avoiding unfavorable stories, most people agree that Harry and Meghan want to intimidate the press into agreeing to avoid unfavorable stories about the Sussexes, like how much they use private planes while claiming to be environmental advocates. Naturally, they may only desire a payment or settlement. In the past, the British press has paid out numerous times, including in lawsuits brought by Prince Charles and the Cambridges. It recently settled a few cases involving the phone hacking lawsuit. Nonetheless, a case that dates back 15 years seems odd for making money, especially considering that the phone hacking affected Prince William more than Prince Harry. On to number 3, royals grabbing cash. The sight of royals grabbing cash in public is also not very appealing. For crying out loud, Granny's picture is accurate, and the family has access to vast riches. What else do they require? In addition, Harry could be subjected to personal testimony and discovery in any lawsuit, despite the fact that such rights appear to be much more limited in the UK than in the US. Being forced to answer questions from sharp, well-paid media company lawyers could be a recipe for disaster because Harry is not the smartest person. On to number 2, warning for the media outlets. A lot of observers are assuming that Harry and Meghan have something to hide by fighting so hard against the media at this inopportune time. They have completely wiped out any positive publicity they received from their trip to Africa. They suggest that Meghan and Harry are attempting to alert the media in advance that they are willing to face legal action in the event that a significant story emerges. This intimidating stance can be effective. When was the most recent time you read about Tom Cruise's private life? But the Sussexes have a lot of followers, so it's easy to guess what they might be trying to suppress. But what is your opinion? Is there something they want to keep from us? And on to number 1, family feud. Even though Harry's past was a wild ride, Meg keeps a lot of drama about her own family and former friends behind her. Thomas Markle Jr., her older half-brother, has stated that he is at his lowest point of his life and that the fame of his sister has cost him his job and his home. Markle Jr. is currently living with his fiancée, her son, and their 2 dogs in a small hotel room after being evicted from his rental home in Grants Pass, Oregon. Markle Jr. claimed that he has been unable to find a new job or a new place to live as a result of being referred to as Meghan's crazy brother in an interview with The Sun. He also blamed his downfall on his sister's global fame. The half-siblings have previously criticized Meghan in the media and claimed that she turns her back on family and friends if she believes they are no use to her. Markle Jr. and his sister have had a strained relationship for some time. Fans of Meghan have called Samantha and Markle Jr. opportunists who want to make money off of Meghan's fame. And personally, I kind of agree. They kind of sound like bums. However, Markle Jr. has claimed that since Meghan's engagement to Prince Harry in 2017, he's been living under a microscope. I mean, I feel like everyone in the royal household is living under a microscope, so. And that the negative attention brought on by his sister's fame has prevented him from finding work or a new place to live. It is evident that the Duchess of Sussex's fame has had an impact on their lives and has brought both positive and negative attention to them, despite the strained relationship between Meghan and her half-siblings. While Meghan, her husband, and their family live in luxury at Windsor Castle, her half-brother is having trouble making ends meet and finding a stable place to live. The possibility of Meghan and her half-siblings reconciling and repairing their relationship in the future is unknown. Samantha, Meghan Markle's half-sister, makes some controversial claims about the Duchess in her new book, The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister Part 1. Sam says that the royal is demanding, belittling, and controlling, and allegedly doesn't thank their father for his financial support. Markle is alleged to have acted in a controlling manner rather than expressing gratitude for the things she received from their father. Samantha asserts that the book was not written with the intention of attacking her sister or in-laws, despite the fact that it depicts Meghan and Prince Harry in a very negative light. It's important to note that Samantha Markle's remarks about her half-sister have previously made headlines. She's previously made controversial statements about the royal family and has spoken out in the media about her strained relationship with Meghan. However, given Samantha's previous actions, it is unknown how much weight these most recent claims will carry. Regardless, it is abundantly clear that the Markle family has been the subject of a fair amount of drama and controversy, and it appears that this most recent revelation will only serve to further the story that is already unfolding. Numerous rumors and speculations surround Meghan's divorce from Trevor Engelson, a film producer and literary manager. Although it was initially reported that the marriage ended because of Markle's busy schedule filming Suits, new information has surfaced regarding the breakdown of the union. The couple was married from 2011 to 2013. Engelson felt like he was a piece of something stuck to the bottom of her shoe, and Markle told him she wanted a divorce, according to a friend of the ex-couple. Engelson was shocked by Markle's decision to end the marriage. According to reports, the decision was totally out of the blue and split their friends, with many choosing to take sides. Due to Markle's alleged treatment of Engelson, Nanaki Pretty, Markle's former best friend and maid of honor at her first wedding, ended their friendship. Trevor definitely had the rug pulled out from under him, Pretty claimed. He felt hurt. It's important to note that these assertions come from a single source and haven't been independently verified, but they do shed light on the divorce's potential turbulent nature. One of the reasons Markle's engagement to Prince Harry initially stirred controversy was that she was the first divorcee to join the royal family. It is not unusual for people to have complicated relationships with their ex-partners, but it appears that Markle's divorce was especially contentious and divided their social circles. Markle has moved on from the circumstances of her first marriage and is now happily married to Prince Harry with their 2 children, Archie and Lilibet. That concludes today's top 10. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life. Top 10 scandalous royal relationships they tried to keep secret. Starting off with number 10, Charles and Camilla. Prince Charles's intimate talk is probably not everyone's cup of tea to this day, even though it may no longer be considered taboo. According to a 1993 article in the LA Times, a radio enthusiast accidentally picked up Charles and Camilla's private phone conversation in 1992, which then made its way into British tabloids. Now, this is all Charles saying this. "Oh God, I'll just hide somewhere in your pants or something. It would be a lot simpler." In the tapes, Charles can be heard saying, "When you grow up, what will you become? A pair of knickers?" Cambridge responds, or Shudder, "A Tampax. It's all luck. I have no words." Most people don't think of romance when they hear about menstruation, and many Brits certainly felt the same way. Persuaded most of the nation that the heir to the throne, the would-be defender of the faith, was a lavatory-minded adulterer. Royal biographer Anthony Holden wrote in the Sydney Morning Herald, "The controversy, which was dubbed Camillagate due to its timing, appeared to be evidence of Charles's immorality. However, given that these tapes were released at the same time as those of Diana and James Gilbey, many people wondered if British internal intelligence was involved in any way. This theory was never proven to be true, but I'm interested in learning what you guys think. Do you think it was all a whole plan, or do you think it was just a coincidence?" On to number 9, Diana and James Gilbey. The rocky romance between Prince Charles and Princess Diana, Prince Harry's parents, was well known. The couple got married in July 29, 1981 in a lavish ceremony that was broadcast all over the world. However, their love story wasn't exactly a fairy tale. Diana openly acknowledged that Charles's infidelity with his now wife Camilla was a factor in her struggles with an eating disorder. However, Diana's relationship was not entirely rumor-free. Multiple media outlets reported that she was also involved in a scandal that the media dubbed Squidgygate in the early 1990s. Several phone calls between Diana and James Gilbey, her secret lover, are said to have been recorded by British intelligence. During these calls, Gilbey allegedly said, "I love you," and affectionately referred to Diana as Squidgy at least 53 times. The tapes were sold to The Sun and then published in the United States in 1992 by the National Enquirer. Because the royal family did not confirm who was actually on the calls, Buckingham Palace did not pursue the papers for the leak. The monarchy's statement that they weren't taking the tapes seriously was the subject of an episode of Frontline in 1997 titled "The Princess and the Press." In the same year as the leak, Diana and Charles divorced, and their divorce was finalized in 1996. Number 8, Diana and James Hewitt. Diana admitted to having an affair with British Army officer James Hewitt during her marriage to Prince Charles in a 1995 interview with BBC reporter Martin Bashir. Diana stated, "He was a great friend of mine during a very difficult, yet another difficult time, and he was always there to support me." The princess replied, "Yes, it did. Yes," when Bashir asked if the relationship had progressed beyond a close friendship. Diana, on the other hand, stated that she felt betrayed by Hewitt, who was heavily cited in an expose of her affairs. According to Hewitt's book Princess in Love, their romance began in 1986 when Diana was said to be estranged from her husband. He claimed that when he was sent to Germany in 1989 for duty, their relationship started to fade. Many people focused specifically on one of Hewitt's physical characteristics when these revelations became public: his dark hair. Even Hewitt himself has frequently refuted the claims that he was Harry's biological father. The interviewer on Australian Channel 7's Sunday Night asked, "Are you Harry's father?" earlier this year. Hewitt replied, "No, I am not," adding that the rumor sells papers and may have persisted for years. On to number 7. Prince Andrew and Koo Stark. When Harry's uncle Prince Andrew dated an American actress in the 1980s, he was in a similar predicament to his nephew. Her name was Koo Stark, and she became famous for her breakout role in the 1976 film Emily. She had an 18-month relationship with the second son of Queen Elizabeth. Majesty magazine editor-in-chief Ingrid Seward told Variety that the relationship received a lot of criticism because an actress was not thought to be the ideal woman for a prince to walk down the aisle with, especially one who had a history of making raunchy movies. According to Seward, in those days, a prince of the realm might have had an actress as a mistress, like his ancestors would have done, but never a wife. Seward said that the pressure from the media caused Andrew and Stark's romance to end, but the two are still said to be close friends today. Number 6. Captain Mark Phillips and Princess Anne. In her marriage to Captain Mark Phillips, Princess Anne, the sole daughter of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, experienced her fair share of heartbreak. They tied the knot in 1973, and in 1985, Phillips had a love child named Felicity with Heather Tonkin, a New Zealand art teacher. According to The Telegraph, a DNA test that was carried out as a result of a paternity suit filed in 1991 proved Felicity to be Phillips' daughter. However, the couple didn't just have a problem with the love child. It was widely noted that Anne and Phillips appeared to have two distinct lives throughout their marriage. They were called a loveless duo in a People story from 1989, and it was reported that the royal couple lived apart for almost 2 years before breaking up. In 1992, they filed for divorce, and that same year, Princess Anne got married to Timothy Lawrence, her current husband. Number 5. Sarah Ferguson and John Bryan. Although the separation of Diana and Charles in '92 captivated the majority of viewers, another member of the royal family received some negative media attention in August. When pictures of Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, leaked to the media, she was just getting over her split from Prince Andrew, Charles's brother. The images, which were published in the Daily Mirror, appeared to show American businessman John Bryan sucking on Sarah's toes while she went topless for a sunbathing session. In the court of public opinions and from the British royals, Fergie received a lot of criticism for the embarrassing photo scandal. 9 out of 10 respondents to a poll that was published in the Sunday Express on August 23, 92, stated that if Andrew went through with the divorce, Ferguson should lose her title. Richard Kay, a well-known royal writer for the Daily Mail, said he was there when Fergie and Bryan found out about the photos. Bryan said that Bryan just kissed Fergie's feet. Sure, Bryan, that's exactly what it looks like you're doing in the pictures. Number 4. Edward VIII and Wallis Simpson. King Edward VIII had made the proposal to Wallis Simpson, an American socialite, in 1936, just a few months into his reign. However, in contrast to Meghan Markle, Simpson's nationality did not cause a social uproar, because at the time it was forbidden for the king, who was also the head of the Church of England, to marry a woman who had previously wed and her husband was still alive. The proposal led to a constitutional crisis in the UK. At the time of the proposal, Simpson still had 2 active ex-husbands. If Harry and Meghan had been dating during those times, they would have faced similar challenges, as both of them are divorced. The 36-year-old actress got married to Trevor Engelson, a film producer, in 2011, but the couple divorced in 2013. According to LUK, Harry and Markle are free to marry at Westminster Abbey whenever they want, provided, of course, they receive the Queen's permission as a result of changes in a religious law in the Church of England. Sadly for Edward, he was not born during Harry's time, so he had to choose between love and the crown. After her second divorce was finalized, he ultimately decided to abdicate the throne and married Simpson in France in 1937. That sounds so poetic. You're leaving the throne for the love of your life? Wow, we need more people like that. On to number 3, Princess Margaret and Peter Townsend. Another royal who was criticized for her dating life was Princess Margaret, Queen Elizabeth's younger sister. The young princess had to ask her older sister for permission to marry a 16-year-old royal heir, Peter Townsend, around 1953. He had been married before, but after his first wife allegedly had an affair, he divorced her. Because of Townsend's divorce, the couple was denied the right to marry multiple times, and even Margaret's title and income were threatened. She ultimately chose not to pursue a romantic relationship with Townsend and went in a different direction than Edward VIII. In a public statement, she said, "I would like it to be known that I have decided not to marry Group Captain Peter Townsend. I have always been aware that I could have entered into a civil marriage if I had not waived my rights to succession. However, due to my obligation to the Commonwealth and the Church's teaching that Christian marriage cannot be broken, I have decided to prioritize these factors." On to number 2, King Henry VIII and his many wives. When it came to multiple marriages, King Henry VIII, who ruled England from 1509 to 1547, could have given Elizabeth Taylor a run for her money. He was married 6 times and even had his first marriage to Catherine of Aragon annulled, which was a controversial move that the Pope at the time disapproved of. However, in the modern era, Henry's numerous wives were not the only thing that would have landed him in the tabloids. Additionally, many of the unusual health issues that many of the women faced attempting to conceive also contributed. In 1534, he miscarried Anne Boleyn, his second wife with whom he cheated on Catherine. Additionally, there's a rumor that she may have previously given birth to a few stillborn children. According to reports, she considered her inability to have a son a betrayal. Anne's problems did not end there though. She later passed away in 1536 after being accused of multiple acts of adultery. Henry proposed to Jane Seymour the day after Anne passed away. Wow. Henry, that's kind of a savage move. Henry had 4 more wives, including Catherine Howard, who was executed for adultery. Henry's life was always filled with conflict. And on to number 1, Princess Margaret and Anthony Armstrong Jones. If you have watched the first 2 seasons of Netflix's The Crown, you know that Princess Margaret, the younger sister of Queen Elizabeth, was a wild child when she was in her prime. When the princess was just 17 years old, she fell in love with Peter Townsend, a married man who worked for her father. The princess married an openly gay photographer named Anthony Armstrong Jones in 1960 after Parliament refused to allow the couple to wed. Even though they were married for 18 years, their union was not happy. In the end, they both had fun making fun of each other. It was the first divorce of a senior royal since 1901 when they got married in 1978. The princess almost lost everything, including her lifestyle that was paid for by the government. She received the moniker Royal Parasite. The royals are drama fans. Although Duchess Meghan Markle's accession to the royal family certainly sparked controversy, it is not the first time the royal family has been part of a scandal. I mean, clearly. Here's one more relationship scandal that we haven't gotten to yet, which had the fans of the royal family outraged. Back in 2019, word on the street was that Prince William, the upcoming king, cheated on his wife Kate Middleton. Rose Hanbury, a close friend of Middleton, is said to be the lady in between the couple. Obviously, the Duke is not the first royal to have an affair, if the rumors are true. King Charles's relationship with his current wife Camilla led to the breakdown of the marriage between the late Princess Diana and then Prince Charles. It is hard to keep up with this family, who is obsessed with maintaining a very prim and proper image. The scandal-ridden royal relationships are just one of the many interesting and juicy things the royals have been involved in. But that is all for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for some more juicy royal updates. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life. Top 10 red flags Kate Middleton should have seen in Prince William. Starting off with number 10, never rushing into commitment. Prince William was not in a hurry to be tied down. Although the Duke is all over his wifey now, there was a time in his life when he tried Kate Middleton's patience. In fact, the British press dubbed Catherine the Duchess of Cambridge, Weighty Katie. Ouch. At the time, the public expected Will and Kate to marry according to an imaginary timeline that had the lovers jumping through spinning hoops to tie the knot at record speed. need. Yet, as we all know, things aren't always so simple. Granted, they started dating each other at the end of 2003 and only got hitched in 2011, but there were other factors at play. Like, did the British public really expect a modern couple to get married in their early 20s? William, on the other hand, did not appear to be in any hurry to cross the aisle. Vanity Fair claims that even before they started dating, he was already having second thoughts. According to legend, the firstborn prince stated that he was experiencing claustrophobic feelings in the summer of 2004. William felt he needed a sailing vacation to Greece for only boys after they agreed to break up. Guy Pelly, a friend of mine, arranged for a crew of only women and they set sail. According to the publication, Kate was annoyed, if not surprised, to learn of Guy's tactics because Guy had been a negative influence on William at the time. On to number 9, Flirty Will. Prince William occasionally drank a little too much, particularly when he was young. His habit of partying and drinking occasionally led to a lot of trouble for him. After a wild night of drinking in England, for instance, photos of a sober William surfaced online. According to Female First, on March 23, 2007, he was discovered seemingly touching the breast of an 18-year-old Brazilian woman named Ana Ferreira. The naughty picture caused a stir in the British media. You see, when William decided to go out for a night on the town in Bournemouth, he was deep into his military tank warfare training in Dorset. According to Ferreira, he was having a good time partying in a nightclub when word went round that William was there playing cheesy 80s music, so we went to take a look, she went on to say. I don't think he would be any good at the samba. He was dancing and looking a little wooden, but he was surrounded by a lot of girls. Okay, William, you're kind of a player. William, who was just 24 years old at the time, got Ferreira and her friend to pose for some pictures. I was a little bit drunk myself, but I felt something brush my breast, she explained. I thought it couldn't be the future king, but now that I've seen the picture, I can see why he's smiling. Number 8, the infamous breakup. The news that her boyfriend had been caught groping other women in a bar made Kate Middleton furious. Today reports that she complained to her mother and sister that Prince William had changed in public. William, on the other hand, complained that he was feeling claustrophobic and sought advice from his father. Because it would be completely unfair to Kate to lead her on, Prince Charles thought it would be prudent for them to part ways. Therefore, William chose to meet Kate at her apartment the following weekend rather than accept an invitation from the Middletons to the Easter celebrations. Because she was already the target of press attention, Kate desired some kind of commitment. I don't want you suffering the way my mother did, he said, recalling his mother's relationship with the paparazzi. She reminded him of how much they had meant to each other and that she didn't want to give up on their relationship. He called Kate at her workplace the following day, April 11, 2007. Even the decency to confront Kate to end their relationship was lacking. He left her over the phone after avoiding a fight. According to Vogue, Kate was employed by Jigsaw as a buyer of fashion accessories at the time. Today reveals that she entered a back conference room and left her colleagues behind. The sorry excuse offered by William was, "It just isn't going to work. It's unfair to you." Fortunately, they reconciled a few months later. Number 7, Furious Kate. Kate Middleton has always insisted on presenting the appropriate image. Vanity Fair claims that she even had to reprimand Prince William when he behaved like a child rather than the future monarch. Sadly, Guy Pelly always seemed to bring out the prince's playful side, and Kate wasn't always interested in that. In 2006, it appears that Will and the court jester were on vacation in Ibiza. They were showing off in front of a rented house, enjoying some testosterone-fueled guy time, having discovered the thrill of moped riding. However, Kate came out of the house and demanded that they stop because she was embarrassed. According to reports, she yelled at them. Anyone could be watching, stop acting this way, and exit the back. They did what they seemed to do, listened to Kate, and stopped showing off. William may not have liked it, but Middleton's judgment was almost certainly right. Vicky Ward, the author of Vanity Fair, wrote, "Will's ego was probably hurt when he was called out in front of his friend, even though Kate's decision was in his best interest. However, despite the obstacle, their relationship endured, and Pelly would later play a significant role in their lives. As per Hello, one of Prince Louis's godfathers is Pelly." On to number 6, Prince Harry is the second son of Princess Diana. She left her oval sapphire ring, which weighs 12 carats. However, according to Marie Claire, the spare believed that the ring belonged to the future queen and presented it to Prince William when he learned that he wanted to propose to Kate Middleton. The prince prince revealed that the ring had been on its own journey when they announced their engagement in 2010. I had been carrying it around with me in my rucksack for about 3 weeks before that, and I literally would not let it go. Everywhere I went, I was keeping hold of it, the prince said when he proposed in Kenya. It is my mother's engagement ring. Obviously, she's not going to be around to share any of the fun and excitement of it all. This was my way of keeping her sort of close to it all. However, many people are aware that the marriage between Princess Diana and Prince Charles was not a happy one. Their union was marred by affairs, insecurities, and the worst rumors, which led to a scandalous divorce. Many people thought that proposing with a ring from a failed marriage was not a good idea. They interpreted it as a negative sign. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's marriage is stronger than ever a decade later. I would love to throw a party. Apparently, when the Duchess of Cambridge was expecting their first child, Prince George, Prince William wanted to let his hair down when he still had some. According to Daily Mail, Will had attended the wedding of his close friend Tom and Lady Melissa Percy while leaving a pregnant Kate at home. William's tooth loss would be associated with the royal wedding of the North. It appears that the young Duke and his friend Tom Inskip were tearing up the dance floor. William was struck in the face by Inskip as a result of a series of events. Due to their wild dance moves, he reportedly lost most of his front tooth, necessitating immediate medical attention. Will still had a sense of humor though. William was joking that if Kate went into labor that night, he would have to smile for the cameras with a missing tooth, a guest claimed. William made sure the tooth was repaired because he was worried Kate would get really upset, said one guest. However, if he hadn't been able to get to the dentist in time, the photos of a sheepish William and a displeased Kate would have been hilarious. On to number 4. According to Australia's The Daily Telegraph, Prince William once again found himself in hot water in 2017 when he was captured partying hard with 2 women. The Duke of Cambridge decided not to attend the Commonwealth Day services and instead went skiing with the boys in Switzerland. Additionally, he left his wife and the kids alone at home. When footage of the British royal dad dancing in a restaurant surfaced, the media had a field day. According to The Sun, William gyrated with Australian model Sophie Taylor and got down and dirty with her. While enjoying her company, he took the model's cowboy hat and put it on his own bald head. Later, according to reports, Taylor entertained the future king by performing a particularly sinister dance move. William allegedly got handsy once more and talked to another woman while bending low and placing his fingers on her waist. He was dancing so wildly that I did a double take when I first saw him and thought it must be a lookalike, a partygoer later told the media. But soon, everyone realized they were really partying with Prince William. It's safe to assume Kate will be far from happy. I'm curious if he has learned his lesson yet. On to number 3, the Rose Hanbury scandal. The media's attention was drawn to Prince William's alleged affair with Rose Hanbury more than any other scandal he was involved in over the years. The first report that Will may have cheated on Kate was published in Touch via the Daily Beast. It appears that the affair took place in 2018 when the Duchess of Cambridge was expecting Louis and was only discovered in 2019. According to the publication, Kate allegedly confronted her husband, but he reportedly laughed off the claims. Although I have not read the piece, I am aware of the affair. In fact, everyone is aware of the affair. He deleted the message later. However, it appears that Kate was sufficiently concerned to make her own demands. She told William that all socializing had to stop because she didn't want them to keep their friendship with the Hanburys. According to their source, they come across as a perfect couple who can do no wrong, but the reality is most couples have their issues and William and Kate are no different. The news that the alleged affair rocked the palace and their marriage shocked the entire world. The royal family attempted to silence the allegations of the affair in an unusual manner. Number 2, breaking friendships. Rose Hanbury and Kate seemed to form a friendship out of nowhere. According to Town and Country, they quickly became apparent close friends because they are nearly the same age, have children of the same age, and go to the same places. However, after Kate allegedly ignored her best friend, rumors began to circulate and both houses remained silent about the situation. In the meantime, Kate sees their friendship in an entirely different light now. According to The Sun, Kate instructed William that Rose Hanbury and their family needed to be phased out. This allegedly clouded their entire friendship. It was well known that Kate and Rose have had a terrible falling out, the insider added. They were once close, but that is no longer the case. William was said to be reluctant to end the friendship, especially since William is said to be close to Rose Hanbury's husband, David Rock Savage. William wants to play peacemaker so the two couples can remain friends, given that they live so close to one another and share many mutual friends. Kate has been clear that she doesn't want to see them anymore and wants William to phase them out. Despite their social status, the insider continued, however, it appeared as though the Duchess had the final say. And on to number 1, during the Rose Hanbury scandal, the tabloids picked up some interesting rumors. It would appear that Kate Middleton was unable to handle the news of the alleged affair. The only tabloid to report that Kate was devastated by the Prince William cheating scandal was the Globe. They said that she wept and ran away from the attention to her parents' Berkshire home. However, as she lay crumbled on the bathroom floor after collapsing, her mother discovered her precious daughter. Mama called a doctor and her son-in-law because she knew best. After all, nothing could continue in this manner. Will, on the other hand, left the Middleton household after Kate allegedly tore into him when he got there. In the midst of all the drama, the kid's fate is not mentioned for the record. In addition, there is no animosity between Kate and William in photographs taken during her pregnancy and immediately after. Therefore, what actually transpired between the Cambridges took place behind closed doors. And that is all for today. Make sure you like this video and comment your thoughts below on this royal couple. Top 10 lies Camilla told King Charles before he cheated. Starting off with number 10, the royal family versus Camilla. Diana was welcomed with open arms despite the fact that Charles and Camilla's relationship was very serious, and the royals had a negative opinion of Camilla. According to Beadle Smith, Charles has always treated Camilla, who was Charles's age at the time, as an equal rather than an idol from the beginning. However, the royal family did not want Camilla to be its princess. She was a no-go for the royal family when it came to finding Prince Charles a wife for a number of reasons. One of which was that she was thought to be an experienced woman. In addition, it was believed that she lacked the aristocratic qualities necessary to be a princess, so they had to break up and move on with other suitors, which obviously did not work out for either one, and ended up with them coming back together in the early 2000s. Former Princess of Wales Diana was adored by the royal family. The Queen thought Diana would be a great match for Charles, and the royal family thoroughly enjoyed her. They got along really well with her too. Diana worked extremely hard to gain respect and set an excellent example of what she believed it would be like to be a princess. Naturally, these points of view spread throughout the community, making the already difficult situation even more difficult. It's not a secret or surprise that Diana's two sons never really accepted Camilla after Charles brought her into the family. Despite William's less outspoken opinions on her, especially considering that he will one day be king, Prince Harry never held back his feelings for the Queen Consort. According to Prince Harry, the Queen and the royal family gradually but surely accepted Camilla as King Charles's person. For a long time, Camilla was portrayed as the notorious third member of the marriage between Diana and then Prince Charles. However, she once more faces criticism that reminds her of a wicked stepmother from fairy tales. Prince Harry claims in his memoir Spare that she was bargaining with the British tabloid media at his expense to get rid of her other women reputation and be seen as a legitimate royal wife. Harry explained that Camilla sought a makeover after marrying Prince Charles in 2005 and was dubbed the villain by the British press. That made her dangerous because of the connection she was making in the press, he stated. In addition, it was clear that both parties were willing to share information. Additionally, given that she was on her way to becoming Queen Consort and belonged to a family with a hierarchical structure, there were bound to be bodies or people discarded out in the open. I see someone who married into this institution and has done everything in her power to improve her own image and reputation for her own sake, he went on to say. I understand why. Despite what Spare may suggest, contrast, Prince Harry has so far cast Camilla as a prominent antagonist in the soap opera saga rather than including her in the fractured, self-serving family she married into. On to number 9, disapproval from the Queen. The extramarital affair between King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla rocked the crown to its core and put the final nail in the coffin of Princess Diana and Prince Charles's strained marriage. This is something that is well known to everyone. The prince's mother, Queen Elizabeth II, was furious more than anyone else. For some time, no one was permitted to enter the palace, including the Duchess. In point of fact, the current monarch had refused to meet her prior to the year 2000, so she only met the Queen in that year. But at the reception for the Duchess and Prince, the Queen did say they have overcome Becker's Brook and the chair, and all kinds of other terrible obstacles. I'm extremely proud of them and wish them success now that they have prevailed. My son is at home with his favorite person. On to number 8, Camilla was not accepted by the public. After Diana passed away, the British public stopped accepting Camilla as Charles's lover. Camilla became a supervillain in the royal saga after Diana's passing away, despite the fact that this seemed a little illogical. After her party was moved up, she was forced to hide for several months. According to OK Magazine, royal correspondent Judy Wade stated, "The prince must keep a safe distance from Camilla shortly after Diana's passing. If Camilla is seen anywhere near his home in the next 6 months," she went on to say, "he will be toast." There is absolutely no chance of Charles marrying Camilla now, Royalty magazine editor Bob Houston said. "He would have to be the dumbest fool in the world to even consider it." Well, I guess that is what he should be known as now, since they are now married. However, fast forward to the present day, and one of the firm's hardest working royals, Camilla has successfully relaunched herself over time. In a significant vote of confidence, the Queen chose Camilla to be her consort. In the days of Diana's explosive interviews and the tapes of tampons, this result was far from certain and it seemed impossible. Camilla, in contrast to Prince Harry and Meghan, is frequently praised, at least by Sussex detractors on Twitter, for her lifetime of quietness, which is a virtue in the royal environment but odd elsewhere. Because of Diana's passing away and the outcry that followed, Camilla was not seen in public for 8 months. She made her first return for a family wedding. On to number 7, the wife confronts the mistress. After being advised by friends to ignore suspicions of an affair between Prince Charles and longtime friend Camilla, Princess Diana felt that she had to give her husband's mistress a piece of her mind. According to recordings from National Geographic that have been archived, when they approached Camilla about the affair, Prince Charles and Diana appear to have been aware of what they were getting themselves into. Camilla and Prince Charles were conversing with a different friend downstairs when Diana asked her to spend some time alone. According to the recording, Diana remembered Charles rushing upstairs to inquire about her plans and find out the real reason Charles didn't marry Camilla in the first place. Despite the Princess of Wales' assertion that she was terrified of Camilla, Diana boldly stated to her, "I'd just like you to know that I know exactly what is going on." Camilla tried to disprove the claim by claiming that she had no idea what Diana was talking about. Diana recalled Camilla saying that she had everything she could ever want and all the men in the world. When asked what else she could want, Diana told Camilla, "I just want my husband." It's important not to overlook these little-known details about Prince Charles and Princess Diana's wedding. Strangely, Diana apologized to Camilla for interfering with her and Charles, but she remained furious. She stated, "I do know what is going on," to Camilla, and she said, "Please do not treat me foolishly." On to number 6, friends with Charles's wife. Yikes. Before Diana learned that her fiancé was in love with another woman, she and Camilla were good friends. She even anticipated that she would be part of her social circle following the royal wedding. Diana, on the other hand, realized before she and Charles got married that Charles still had a flame for his former partner, even though she was also married at the time. Princess Diana stated that she wondered if she was making a mistake when she saw Camilla in the church on her wedding day. She says, "As I was walking down the aisle, Camilla in her pale gray pillbox hat and her son Tom standing on a chair caught my eye." Andrew Morton, Diana's biographer, recollected her saying, "You know, vivid memory to this day." And counting down to number 5, worst kept affair. After a publicly disastrous marriage, Diana and Charles split up in 92 and got a divorce in 96. One of their main disagreements was his open affair with Camilla, which was the monarchy's worst kept secret. Diana told Martin Bashir in the infamous Panorama interview, There were 3 of us in the marriage, so it was a little crowded. Diana and Charles split up and started seeing other people while they were still married. Diana had a number of relationships, including one with the heart surgeon Hasnat Khan, and later with Dodi Al Fayed, the man she was dating when she passed away. Charles remained with Camilla during this time. The undertaking of Charles is known to the overall population. However, by attending and leaving separate events, he and Camilla attempted to conceal their relationship. Charles was busy organizing Camilla's 50th birthday, which would also serve as their first date, meticulously. After that, an issue arose. On to number 4, spilling the beans. If Diana had survived, Charles and Camilla probably would have married much earlier. Instead, they kept their relationship private and out of the public eye for a number of years. The Prince of Wales married his longtime partner in 2004. Even though she technically had the option to do so out of respect for Diana, she decided not to style her name as Princess of Wales. On to number 3, unfit for the king. In the early 1970s, Prince Charles and Duchess Camilla first met. After friends introduced them, the prince fell in love right away. In her book, the Duchess, royal biographer Penny Juror wrote, Camilla claims that the Duchess was not in any way overawed by him, not fawning or sycophantic. After the prince left with the Royal Navy in 1973, Parker Bowles accepted the proposal from her on and off boyfriend Andrew, despite the strong bond they had. The palace didn't think Camilla would be a good fit for the king, even if things had worked out well for the two of them. She did not come from an aristocratic family, which was important in those days. Number 2, what is the staff hiding? Prince Charles's affair with Camilla was once kept a secret from Princess Diana, even by the cleaning staff. Or they tried at the very least. Followers of the royal family are aware the Prince of Wales' affair with the Duchess of Cornwall, which took place while Charles was married to Princess Diana. It is safe to assume that some members of the royal family are unhappy that their affair is featured in the 4th season of Netflix's The Crown, making it one of the most significant royal relationship scandals. But it's harder to find juicy details about their affair. In '95, the prince's valet Ken Stronach revealed shocking details about Charles' affair in a well-known interview with News of the World. He even lost his job because he broke confidentiality. At the time, Stronach claimed that after Charles would sneak out of bed in the middle of the night to meet with Camilla, he would clean grass stains from his PJs. Prince Charles mates love to Camilla in the bushes of his Highgrove mansion while Princess Diana slept inside. He was careless and took a big risk, but he doesn't even care about the woman. After Charles's midnight romps, a source claimed that there was mud and muck everywhere. They had clearly been working outside, which was evident. Charles even ruffled up his bed with his staff to make it look like he had slept in it. Even though it was very complicated, no one was deceived by it. The valet asserted that the strain of keeping Charles's secrets had rendered him sick. During his time with Charles, he told the newspaper, "We've all been told not to speak to anyone about anything. Due to the strain of keeping his secrets, I became very ill." It's clear that the firm still doesn't like to talk about this royal stuff, even though Prince Charles has admitted to the affair and even married Duchess Camilla. And on to number 1. Speaking of the big affair, it's not a big secret Camilla was hiding a high-profile affair from the world, or at the very least try to. Charles and Camilla made every effort to keep their extramarital affair from Diana and the rest of the world, despite the fact that the Princess of Wales was well aware of it. Before Princess Diana and Prince Charles filed for divorce, Camilla was regarded as a villain, and she was also resented up until the Princess of Wales untimely passing away in '97. However, in the days that followed that tragic incident, Camilla's life underwent significant change. Princess Diana's misfortune was not specifically attributed to the Duchess of Cornwall. They did, however, discover a newfound hatred for her greatest foe after Diana's passing in the Paris car accident. Camilla was forced to hide for months as the situation got worse because of the hatred. And that is all for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.